Welcome, students. I am Nancy Southerland. I'm eager to begin the discussion of Chapter 11. Chapter 11 is entitled Consumer Identity 2, Social Class and Lifestyles. Chapter 11 discusses how our income and social class affect our lifestyle choices and consumer behavior. Chapter objectives in this chapter include our confidence in our future, as well as in our overall economy, determines how freely we spend and the types of products we buy. We group consumers into social classes that say a lot about where they stand in society. Individuals desire to make a statement about their social class, or the class to which they hope to belong, influences the products they like and dislike. A lifestyle defines a pattern of consumption that reflects a person's choice of how to spend his or her time and money. And these choices are essential to define consumer identity. Identifying patterns of consumption can be more useful than knowing about individual purchases when organizations craft a lifestyle marketing strategy. Psychographics go beyond simple demographics to help marketers understand and reach different consumer segments. Learning Objective 1 states our confidence in our future, as well as in the overall economy, determines how freely we spend and the types of products we buy. This chapter begins by considering how people appear based on the products we surround ourselves with. Phil, pictured, is meeting his girlfriend's parents. He's surprised to find that even though Marilyn hinted the family had money, that the family had very plain surroundings. Tightwads hate to part with their money and actually experience emotional pain when they make purchases. Spendthrifts enjoy nothing more than spending. Frugality seems to be driven by a pleasure of saving, compared to tightwadism, which is driven by a pain of paying. Consumer research on attitudes toward money found 8 segments. These range from crash dieters who would try to cut out all non-essential spending until things improve, to vultures who circle the market looking for bargains. Behavioral economics is also called economic psychology. It is the study of the human side of economic decisions. Consumers' belief about what the future holds are an indicator of consumer confidence. Consumer confidence is a measure of how optimistic or pessimistic people are about the future health of the economy and how they predict they'll fare down the road. When people are optimistic about the future, they tend to reduce their savings rate. In addition, world events and culture affect overall savings rates. The person depicted in the Bianco ad is tired of hearing about the financial crisis. For reflection, how does your own attitude toward spending affect your general shopping patterns? Learning Objective 2 states we group consumers into social classes that say a lot about where they stand in society. It focuses on social class and how consumer behavior relates to social class. The ad for Libby glassware depicted suggests that Libby has glassware style for both beachgoers and bowlers. We use the term social class to describe the overall rank of people in a society. People who belong to the same social class have approximately equal social standing in the community. They work in similar occupations and tend to have similar lifestyles. We tend to marry people in a similar social class to ours, a tendency that sociologists call homogamy. Social stratification refers to the creation of artificial divisions among people such that some members get more resources than others by virtue of their relative standing, power, or control in the group. In groups, some resources are earned through hard work, and this is known as achieved status. Others may get resources because of who they are, and this is known as ascribed status. Most groups do exhibit a status hierarchy, where some members are better off than others. Social class includes multiple determining factors, but two highly influential factors are occupational prestige and income. Occupation is considered the best indicator of social class because it is strongly linked to the use of leisure time, allocation of family resources, aesthetic preferences, and political orientation. The distribution of wealth determines which groups have the greatest buying power and market potential. Social class and income can be useful in predicting consumer choices, but not always. SBI divides consumers into three groups based on their attitudes toward luxury. Consumers who use their money to buy things that will last and have enduring value view luxury as functional. Those who use luxury goods to say, "I've made it," view luxury as a reward. Those who seek out luxury goods in order to illustrate their individuality take an emotional approach to luxury spending and view luxury as indulgence. We typically assume that marketers are targeting consumers at the top of the pyramid. Those are consumers with the highest incomes, but they are also a small percentage of the world market. There are also marketers targeting the bottom of the pyramid. 78% of the global population is low-income consumers whose purchasing power is under $10,000 per year. This figure illustrates how marketers can market to low-income consumers. The A's include awareness, affordability, availability, and acceptability. Social mobility refers to the passage of individuals from one social class to another. Horizontal mobility occurs when a person moves from one position to another that is roughly equal. For instance, when a nurse becomes an elementary school teacher, horizontal mobility has occurred. Upward mobility means moving to a higher status. Downward movement is losing social status. Overall, though most people remain in their social class, the improvements people make are not sufficient to shift them into a whole other class. The exception is when someone marries someone who is much richer. This figure provides a view of the current American status structure. Every society has some type of hierarchical class structure that determines people's access to products and services. Social class remains an important way to categorize consumers. However, marketers fail to use social class information as effectively as they could because of the reasons above. This reflection will really move you. How do you assign people to social classes, or do you at all? What consumption cues do you use, example clothing, speech, cars, etc., to determine social standing? Learning Objective 3 states individuals' desires to make a statement about their social class, or the class to which they hope to belong, influences the products they like and dislike. It's becoming more difficult to identify social class from product choices. Think about how many college women you know who have a Coach purse but eat ramen noodles for dinner. A taste culture describes consumers in terms of their aesthetic and intellectual preferences. This concept helps us to understand subtle distinctions in consumer choices. Another approach to social class focuses on codes, the way consumers express and interpret meanings. Restricted codes focus on the content of objects rather than the relationships among objects. Elaborated codes are more complex. Table 12.1 in the text summarizes these differences. Although status seeking through product consumption and display is a worldwide phenomenon, some find the best tactic is to do the opposite. In that case, status is attained by avoiding it. Social scientists call this form of conspicuous consumption parody display. Consumers engage in conspicuous consumption as a way to display status markers. Yet the prominence of these markers varies from products with large recognizable emblems to those with no logo at all. Those in the know can recognize a subtle status marker. In contrast, others may try to use loud signals to ensure others spot their status markers. These differences are labeled brand prominence. Consumers in this typology are assigned to one of four consumption groups based on their wealth and need for status. These are patricians, parvenus, poseurs, and proletarians. How do people who buy luxury goods handle it when that brand is counterfeited? They may fight, reclaim, or a brand. Fight means they stop using the brand. Reclamation means they try to establish their long-term relationship with the real brand. A brand means they minimize the visibility of their luxury goods so that only those who also have the real thing know that they also have the real thing. Let us reflect. Do you use quiet or loud signals, or perhaps a mixture of both? Provide examples of quiet versus loud brand signals used among your reference groups. What do these signals say about social class and lifestyle? Learning Objective 4 states a lifestyle defines a pattern of consumption that reflects a person's choice of how to spend his or her time and money, and these choices are essential to define consumer identity. A lifestyle marketing perspective recognizes that people sort themselves into groups on the basis of the things they like to do, how they spend their leisure time, and how they spend their disposable income. For reflection, identify a brand that appeals to your lifestyle. Does it appeal specifically to the things you like to do, how you spend your leisure time, or how you spend your money? Learning Objective 5 states identifying patterns of consumption can be more useful than knowing about individual purchases when organizations craft a lifestyle marketing strategy. A goal of lifestyle marketing is to allow consumers to pursue their chosen ways to enjoy their lives and express their social identities. Many products and services seem to go together. Importantly, products can have meaning in establishing a person's lifestyle. The desire to associate a product with a social situation is a long-standing one for advertisers, whether they include a product in a round of golf, a family barbecue, or a night out. People, products, and settings result in an express consumption style which can be used as a cue. For reflection, identify products and settings that would be at your home in your consumption styles. Have marketers identify these consumption styles and use them in advertising. Learning Objective 6 states psychographics go beyond simple demographics to help marketers understand and reach different consumer segments. Psychographics involve the use of psychological, sociological, and anthropological factors to determine how the market is segmented by the propensity of groups within the market and their reasons for making particular decisions. Sometimes it is called lifestyle segmentation. There are several ways to do a psychographic analysis. A lifestyle profile looks for items that differentiate between users and non-users of a product. A product-specific profile identifies a target group and then profiles these consumers on product-relevant dimensions. A general lifestyle segmentation places a large sample of respondents into homogeneous groups based on similarities of their overall preferences. A product-specific segmentation study tailors questions to a product category. Table 11.2 in the text reveals a more comprehensive view of lifestyle dimensions. In the slide, you can see some examples of people's primary activities, interests, and opinions. Marketers can use psychographic studies in many ways. Several of the most common uses are listed in the slide. One of the most well-known segmentation systems is the Values and Lifestyle System, also called VALS 2. It is based on segments grouped by self-orientation and resources. Self-orientation may be based on ideas, achievement, and self-expression. Resources range from high to low. Innovators are those whose higher resources result in less emphasis on self-orientation. Strugglers are those whose low resources also result in little emphasis on self-orientation. Brands can reveal self-orientations too. Some brands will seem more focused on ideas, others on achievement. Do you see examples in which those brands are clearly targeted specific VALS segments? Chapter 11 summary includes these key points. Both personal and social conditions influence how we spend our money. We group consumers into social classes that say a lot about where they stand in society. A person's desire to make a statement about social class influences the products he likes and dislikes. Lifestyle is the key to many marketing strategies. Thank you for listening to the lecture of Consumer Behavior, Chapter 11, entitled Consumer Identity 2, Social Class and Lifestyles. I am Nancy Southerland. I'm eager to engage you.